it's important for us to be together and sort of answer questions. It's also, I find it important to answer the same question over and over and over again. Because if you ask me the same question tomorrow, the answer might be totally different, because the answer is not coming from some kind of a storage space in my brain. Question A is 86 pages, bang, 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 bang. So as everything turns around everything else, and we're being together, the answer is being co-created by us. So depending on who is present and participating, it actually, the answer comes as a result of all of us being together. And so that's an important part of our us being together. It's also a very important part when we're not asking or not addressing a question. And that happens frequently when we get together. We just simply sink into the body. However you do that, it's fine. I usually encourage people to be aware of their hand. We look at each other and we're aware of our hands. It's like feeling the hand from inside. It's very simple. You should have like an immediate effect of the mind slowing down or even stopping. And the work here is to bypass the mind's invalidation. The mind immediately attempts to invalidate such a simple thing. And I mean, you don't tell me that all I have to do is be aware of my hand and then that's the answer. Can't be that simple, but it is. Not only that, but the reason I usually recommend the hands, and any body part would do, is because hands are an amazing thing. It moves. My hands move, the finger move, my arm moves. And it just happened that my arms and my fingers are all proportionate by the golden means, Fibonacci numbers, doesn't matter how we call them. The hands are the same, hands and the arms are the same proportion as it is found all over the universe. And so by me being aware of my hands, putting attention in this direction, I'm actually converging with the universal forces. Now the mind might like this sentence because it seemed like a bit more mysterious or complicated. Oh, I see. You're converging. Okay. But it is just, don't have to know what that means. All we have to know is the experience of this amazing simplicity. Not only the mind slows down, but I can actually move this. And I can move this around my head when I'm in there. I can move it around my body and kind of experience its effect if I need it. And we notice how even a very small movement of the hand or fingers can affect the simplicity of this and the effect of this. How is it affected? We don't know. We don't care. As soon as we get into more and more explanation, then we give the mind some material to work with, to attempt to make it more complicated. And actually the only reason I'm talking is to keep the mind busy. Because there comes a moment where we're just sitting together. And we do this sitting together every time we get together. And every time we get together and we do this, I rejoice because I can see on everyone that the simplicity works. And perhaps sitting together in such a simplicity, even the mind might want to talk to me and say, hey, I know you're a schmuck, but all these other people can't all be schmucks. So if they are willing to be this simple, why not you? And I use it sometimes. Sitting together, we don't forget, we're just aware of our hands. And if you blink your eyes, you can already notice that it kind of influences the simple space that we're in. Moving my fingers in different angles also does the same thing. Smiling, which is Adrian's favorite activity. Smiling is a major influence. And the mind might say, yeah, I heard of that. There is even a thing called laughing yoga. So, okay, that makes sense. Being aware of my hand and smiling. And the mind usually says, I only want you to smile when you're happy, when there is something to smile about. Otherwise, you're not genuine, you're faking. We don't care what the mind says, because we have the right to use smile, the physiology of smile. And together it works very well. We also notice that the smile, the physiology of smile itself is directional, meaning that I can, now that I'm in the body, I can smile at my knees. It's directionally by having an intention to smile at my knee. I'm actually doing it. Smile at my stomach. So the smile itself becomes directional. And we don't think of smile as directional. When we enter the body, quote unquote, when we experience this, when the mind stops and we experience this peace, the rules change big time. This moment is not going to be the continuation of the previous moment. So occasionally we refer to it as moment-to-momentness. Sit and be very comfortable. Smile at your chest. And notice how the geometry of the mouth seems to be influencing where the attention goes and where the smile goes. So all of a sudden we have directionality that is not linear. I can smile at my toes, and I don't need to go through my whole body to make sense of it. I can smile at the room. So the rules change, and the simpler we keep it, the more power we get. We really have to be like little children and play and not be serious. And this is the state that is not a mental state where we are at home. We know we are home because we're not bored, even though we have heard this before. But it's not boring. And every time we do this, or similar, it's a little bit different anyway. And the experience is different every moment. The next moment doesn't have to be deeper than the previous moment. It's just gonna be unique to that moment. So whatever happens, did I say it right? Happens. Yeah. I keep being aware of my hand and smiling at my chest. Then, as you guys already know, there's no next step, but we make one up anyway. The next step on the road where there's no road is to be aware of the breath. And it's once we're at home, the breath has a very interesting function. It wants us to be aware of it. It really likes it when we are aware of it. Before the entry into the body, sometimes we focus on the breath to help us get in. And provided that we have the angles, we can get into the body. Once we're in, all these functions, including the breath, I'm aware of the fact that I'm directing the smile anywhere I want. And I'm aware of the breath. With the breath, I can unify very easily with the whole room. Or we can unify with the space that happened to be in between all of us. It's a lot of space. I mean, we have people from Canada and California, and Nevada, Georgia, London, and Norway. Oh yeah. And so, with one smile, we can actually cover all that space. And it's because of we are willing to be simple. The willingness to be simple and not complicated gives us this kind of power. Smile at all the space that's covering us, everybody. And if the mind says bullshit, 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 that's its job. We chuckle, we smile at it, we bypass it. This common denominator that we have between us is more powerful than any other thing that I know of. So now we have the breath and the smile. We can smile at all the space that's between us and increase its intensity. And we only started out with feeling our hand. And what we keep communicating to the universe is that I'm willing to be that simple. Yes, if there is things further to know, I'm willing. But the prerequisite is to be aware of this kind of simplicity and to be comfortable with it. Yes, I'm simple and I'm able to and willing to smile the whole planet. It feels like when I'm breathing the whole room, breathing the whole universe, if you want. It's what they call the universal breath. You are it. There's no inferior, superior, anything here. You feel like you're filling up with love. It's because that's our natural state, that we don't have to deserve, it's a birthright, etc. The mind, if we were asking its opinion, would want to say that we're wasting time. I don't know how we can waste time when we're out of time, but anyway, we can waste time. And I'm always grateful when we do this together because it feels like, again, I'm going to use metaphors. It feels like hundreds of angels are working with us. Some of you may be actually able to tell that something is happening in and around the body that is a little bit unusual. The door is open. We opened it. The breath and the smile, keep it open. The breath and the smile is getting more and more refined. The breath becomes more and more subtle and more refined. Be aware of it, of its simplicity, as we are grateful together. You are not getting help to recharge yourself. You are the recharger. No need for help. You are the one who is recharging, and you are the one who is the recharger. No levels. Full empowerment of yourself. If you allow the kind of simplicity that is required. Is there more? Yeah. But the prerequisite for the more is to appreciate and be grateful and mostly value simplicity. That's the prerequisite. Once that is done, we can have all kinds of technology to be inside the body, directing energy, directing consciousness to different parts of the body, and we can learn to direct it to different energy centers of the body, do all kinds of things with them. And all kinds of amazing, we can do all kinds of amazing stuff. But it will not work unless the simplicity is valued. Once the simplicity is valued, we enter into a whole new value system. It's non-cumulative, moment-to-momentness, where you can almost feel like all the planets in the universe and everything is spinning around one another, we realize very easily that there's no linearity really. The future and the past is actually uncertain because we make it up as we're here. Yes, we can make up even our past, which is very nice because some of us didn't have the best. It's not mysterious, still very simple, very childish, very loving. And when I say loving, I mean the type of love we're experiencing now, just being together. Once this is valued and experimented with, even a little bit, it'll start forming it as a new platform. It's metaphorical. There's no platform, but it's a good way to express it. It becomes the new platform, the higher platform of our reality, from which we can operate life. And of course, when I say higher platform, I don't really mean higher. I mean more effectively convergent. But don't worry about dissecting that. Higher and lower is just an expression that we have inherited from the medieval times when the sun was coming up and the sun was going down. So we still talk about it, the sun comes up and down. And, so there is really only as everything spins around everything else, there is only in and out. When we're focusing in, we're converging with the universal forces. All it means is that the body has the same ratio as it exists all over the universe. So it kind of triggers this kind of golden ratio reality as soon as we focus into the body. So that's in. That's converging with universal forces. Or I can say that I presented myself in such a simple fashion to God that God will recognize me as his child. Very, very metaphorical. So there's convergence. And when I allow my mind to do all kinds of things, compare things, then I'm diverging. Is diverging bad? No. It's just that we have, so far as people, have been trying to converge with the universe using only divergence. So we'll keep on limiting our reality, hoping that doing that, one day we're going to get to something unlimited.
Good.
We need divergence. We couldn't build a bridge or build a building. But we cannot use the same rules as we use for divergence to find the universal love that we are experiencing. Be aware of your hand and let the simplicity be okay. And reaffirm the smile. Reaffirm the smile and the hand connection. Yeah, there you go. This kind of simplicity and powerful love will never leave you. It's steady. It doesn't need more accumulation of information. It doesn't need to analyze things. It doesn't need to make distinctions. Instead of making distinctions, we notice things. We can notice that we are in different space, but we're not making a template out of it in the contrast mind. The contrast mind is the one that runs divergence. Convergence, divergence. Could it be that all the sages and masters and religions even inferred or referred to this? Yeah. But how come it's not more complex? How can I, a simple person from a small city from Hungary, deserve it? Or, or from wherever you are from. We accept the simplicity and value it. It's instant. It does not require time. We're bypassing time. We're not blaming linearity. We're not blaming divergence. We're not blaming other people. We're simply experiencing who we are. Have always been. It can't be this simple. Yeah, it is. Simple and restful, yes. Thank you, Fatima. Yeah. Yeah, restful is a very good word. We're kind of resting in the bosom of God. I don't know if that's a good metaphor.
Sounds good to me.
Bosom, okay. Resting. Real rest. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, just be. What did I do to deserve this? Well, we were born. The price we pay is to temporarily suspend the intellectual dialogue that might want to go on in our head. We're just temporary. We're not saying there's anything wrong with it. We're temporarily suspending it to experience who we are. And then based on that base, we can start using our intellect from a whole different perspective, from a whole different level. So we have the opportunity to make distinctions, contrast reality, and we have the opportunity to unite with things. So we can use our senses to sense our way around the world by making distinctions, seeing the differences. But this newly opened attribute is the opposite. It enables us to have the ability to unite. Unite with what? With anything we put our attention to. Each other, the universe, the space, the smile. Don't need to understand it. But I think all of us feel in our hearts that it's about time that we as humanity be able to do this. To be able to have the ability to unite with stuff, to be able to resolve our differences in such a way that don't need any more destruction. If we only rely on the contrast mind, it occasionally needs to destroy stuff to make some space. How about if there is unlimited space and love available for anyone and everyone? Can we sell this? No. Can anybody use it? Yes. then how can we patent this? So other people won't be able to use it. Copyright. It's only available if we not attempt to copyright it. The moment we would do that, it would go away.
That's why it's called intellectual property.
Yeah, it's intellectual.
Property.
This is non-intellectual. And why would we want to copyright it anyway? What's wrong with everyone benefiting? I mean, the more everyone benefits, the more powerful it gets. The better everyone feels, the more secure everyone feels, the less agitated everyone feels. Just because we allowed the simplicity to come in and stay, and we started to value it. All those secret teachings that are secretive, we were only secretive because we, as humanity, didn't have the ability to decode it. It's not like somebody hide it away, so although there are some instances, some sects and religions that they do that, but mostly it's an open book, but we have to activate the decoder within us. So when we read those old amazing wisdom, then it's decoded into our reality. So all of a sudden the combination of the sentences and the combination of its wisdom comes through. As long as we have the decoder, that would activate that. Is it important to know how quantum physics relate to this? If you wanted to, but it's not important. Extremely useful space, functional. The functionality takes some time as we integrate this into our everyday living. And that's the only thing that takes time. This is instant, just about. The integration takes time. And to the extent that I accept this simplicity, it doesn't really take that much time. And to the extent that I accept this kind of simplicity, and here is the good news. It's easy. If I don't accept the simplicity, it's not hard, it's impossible. You can always count on Phyllis for a nice smile. So it's either easy or impossible. It is my mandate to make it easy. That's what I do. Does it make me special? Sure, I'm special. If I think of myself as special, then I can't be simple. The weird stuff is that being in this space makes all of us special by being not special at all. Occasionally when I did some lectures here in Budapest, there were some ladies who were sitting in the front row, and they started to make notes very quickly to try to steal my lecture.
Try to steal presents.
Try to steal, because they're thinking I'm saying something different, so they can add it to their itinerary or whatever they do. So they can steal the words and the expressions. After 5 or 10 minutes, they stop writing. They don't know what to write. We can't steal presence and love. We cannot have an exclusive right. It's nobody's exclusive right. The moment we try to make it our exclusive right, it will not work. And the mind feels, the contrast mind feels wonderful if my life is slightly better than yours. And we'll go around comparing things. And when we see somebody not as fortunate, we kind of feel, oh, okay. I'm a little better, or taller, or healthier, or younger, whatever. That is what we're used to feel good. I'm okay. I have my identity. I'm educated. I'm beautiful. Whatever. And this kind of peace is not a comparative peace. It's a united peace. It's non-comparative. Whether I'm young or old or ugly or beautiful, same thing. What does it cost us? Be aware of your hand. Let it be okay for a while. That's all I have to do. The simpler, the easier to manifest. The simpler, the easier it is to have a great relationship. On and on and on. I'm okay and you're okay. I think there was a book like that a long time ago. I don't think they meant it this way, but you're okay, I'm okay, we're all okay. And I don't need to feel better than you to feel good. When we have this simple identity, it's a non-comparative, non-comparable identity, unified. That's the common denominator between people and all living things, actually. So once in a while, you want to take a little time during the day, keep your eyes open, and just be simple. Like, I'm aware of my hand, I smile, that's it. And see what happens. And if the mind wants to talk, then we do our technology, which is chuckle. That's it. So try its amazing simplicity and just sit with it. It feels like amazing level of appreciation to the universe, to God, to being alive. And if the mind is telling you you're wasting your time, chuckle, because that's way beyond that, and it's the most effective way to spend time. Why not spend time with hundreds of angels and helpers that are so powerful we don't even understand? You don't need to believe it, it's a metaphor. Keep the door open every day, a little while, and see what happens.
Somebody just opened the door when you said that.
Yeah, when I said someone just opened the door outside, I said open the door.
The universe is hearing you.
Yeah. So when you say open the door, someone will open the door. That's the benefit. It's the... Okay. Well, thank you guys. And just with a small amount of attention. I can hardly talk. Small amount of attention, you can keep this going for the whole day. Try it and see, or try it and feel. Lots of love to you guys, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All the best.
Bye.
Bye.